Hello, in theory we're live. I am going to be today making a sanding disc to work with your lathe. Disc and a table. Fairly simple project, which if you don't have a separate disc sander, it's handy to have. The table is going to be based on a wooden pillar, find my camera, which I have here for my drill guide. And the sanding disc is going to be based on a nut embedded in a piece of wood, which I did for my glue chucks. And the video for the glue chucks will be above my finger when I get to edit this video later on. But for now, I'm pointing at a silly place. But yeah, my glue chucks will show how this gets used. I've got 2.5 helpers in with me. I've got Mark and Di online, my backstage crew.
Hello.
And hopefully Adam will come in due course.
I'm not the half then, too.
No, Adam's a half because he's not quite there yet. So just bring him online and you can say hello.
Hey guys.
Howdy do.
Okay, so we're going to start with switching the camera. We'll start with making a pillar. Just a bit of beech. I've got a lot of beech around here because I use it a lot. I'm going to turn this bit into a 1-inch round that will fit my tool post. So obviously if you're doing it, whatever your tool post size is, I'm going to keep this bit square. That'll give me a shoulder to sit on top of the tool post, on the banjo rather, and save me buying a ring. If you don't want to do it this way, Axminster sell rings that you can clamp onto a straight round bar. But I'm a cheapskate. I've chosen a fairly big piece because I want a fairly well supported table. So I've got a nice big square at the end here to fit the table to. So I'm going to start cutting that. If Mark and Di, if you want to let me know who's in the chat.
Right, so first in was Douglas Mungham, and then Seth from Brickhouse Craftworks, Richard Phelan, Tommy's Workshop, some dodgy geezer from Bude, that'd be me, Steve Scott, Brian at Hardwood Turn-In. Hello, Brian, again.
Hello, Brian. Enjoyed your life.
John S., Duncan the Demon Barber, Richard Phelan, Mark Pritchard, Tommy's Workshop, Steve Scott, Jixie's Shed, Hodgepodge Woodworks, hi Robert, Aidan Grace, all just saying hello to each other, Robert Lapsley, Tom Chester. That's about it for the moment.
Cool. Hello, everybody.
I do apologise.
Oops. Sorry about that. Hopefully that noise isn't getting through. A bit far over the tool rest.
It is a bit, but it's all right. Paul Smith is in. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Paul. I'm just roughing out a bit of beech at the moment, Paul, for the tool rest support. Picked up the bowl gauge again. I've got a spindle gauge right there, but never mind. Oh, shut up, silly lathe.
So how bad is
Douglas Mungham, hello. Hi, Douglas.
I'm actually making this because we had a conversation on woodturning for beginners group. Somebody's having trouble with pen blanks, and they're blowing out when she tries to trim the ends.
Barry from Real Simple Things is in, but don't tell anybody because he's Skyping.
I haven't set fire to anything, Barry. As you can see, I'm not being overly careful with this. It doesn't really matter. It's a tool at the end of the day. As long as it fits, job done. And I think that will.
I think Barry's disappointed that if Barry was here, of course, I think he would be disappointed that there's no burning taking place.
I actually can't burn.
Why?
The gas cannons has run out.
Oh,
And because of lockdown, I can't replace it. Guess what? I measured that wrong.
is it a bit thick?
It's a bit thick.
Rob CP's in. Hi, Rob.
Brush things.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob. Sorry, I'm not swearing. I do apologise. Yeah, see? Didn't even measure it properly. Okay, so.
Rookie mistake.
I know. Give myself 3 points and then it should work.
Adam's in the background.
3 points.
He says. There he is.
Hi, Adam.
Hey guys, sorry about that. You wouldn't think I worked for the largest IT company in the world, would you?
Yeah, I would. That's why you couldn't do it. My
Hi, Adam.
pension comes from Fujitsu, not IBM. Again, I should have picked up the skew for this, but that's all the way over there.
So I'm quite surprised you haven't used the skew just to rub it in a bit.
Yeah, but it's at least 2 feet away from me, you know? See if I got it right this time. No, still not right.
Do you know what will make that look even better?
What's that?
Captive ring.
I don't know what to say to that, Mark.
I think Di agrees with me. I think by the sound of his laughter, I think Di's thinking, yeah, a captive ring on that square part would look really good. Just set it off nicely.
Well, as I had to stop the lathe, and as I've screwed it up twice now on the measurements, let's get the skew out. Is that a better view?
Yeah, that's good.
What's going to happen now, don't you? I'm going to make it sloppy fit instead.
French fit. Barry says, burnt captive ring. Now there's a thought. Don't start, Baz.
All captive rings should be burnt to ash. There we go. Nice fit. Now then, the height of this matters. It wants to be central. And the way I find that out is mark it. Literally, if I just bring in the tail center up and putting a dot into it.
Terry's in. Hi,
Just
TJ.
the camera.
TJ, turn in.
Hi, Terry.
My tabletop is 18mm ply. I've put a 9mm hole through there, which is easy to gauge because it's not really 18mm ply because I haven't got any. It's 2 bits of 9mm glued together. I've got lots of that. So basically I'm going to draw a line where that dot is because you can't see that.
Yeah, Douglas Dye's having to use his phone to be in the chat. So his microphone's not picking him up very well. Not a lot we can do about it, I'm afraid.
Don't forget to
You
smash
see that line on
comment,
there?
guys.
I think you can see
No.
the line. No?
No.
All right, you're going
Put
to
your
take my
thumb
word
where
for
it is.
it.
Put your thumb where it is.
Yeah, it's there.
There you go.
So basically, I need this to be 9mm below that line, which is easy to measure. If I remember to bring the piece of ply over that I was going to bring over earlier, and then took it back to the drill press because I want to use it for something else. So all I'd have to do is line that up with the line. Mark again, and now there's 2 lines that you can't see, but I can.
You can just see him now, yeah. You can just see him now.
You just see them now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I'm just going to whip over to the bandsaw, trim the top off of this, and then the second bit will be turned into a tenon to go into my tabletop. So Mark's going to do a dance for you while I'm off camera.
Yeah, that's me. I'm dancing.
He's good at that.
Looking forward to seeing that, Mark.
I promise you, nobody wants to see me do any dancing.
Oh, Mark, you've got lights on that pole as well. Shame I forgot to switch the camera over, isn't it?
Yeah. Currently hanging upside down by my ankles, spinning slowly around the pole.
So Pete, did you say, is there any particular type of wood that's good for this that you would recommend?
I'm using beech. I've got lots of beech, but pretty much any wood will do. Straight grained, you're going to be putting a bit of sideways stress on it, not a lot, so reasonably strong. However, at the end of the day, it takes minutes to make. If it breaks, make another one. Compared to the cost of the metal ones, you can make as many as you want.
Yeah, I saw one online last night for a graduate lathe, and yeah, bearing in mind it was steel and adjustable to an angle, but it was over £150.
Yeah.
Plus whatever delivery cost, you know, completely.
The thing is, I make quite a few out of timber. you can make as many as you need.
Yeah. I made one a few months ago. I think in total it cost me 11 quid. And £9.99 of that was the 3 sanding discs.
Yeah. Now today's little exercise, I haven't spent any money at all on because I only thought about doing it yesterday, and I came out to the workshop, see what I had lying around, and that's what I'm using. So not actually cost me a penny this, but I am using a self-adhesive sanding disc because I have one. I would recommend, if you're doing this, you go a little bit upmarket and get yourself some Velcro.
That's what I did.
You can buy Velcro for the soft bit, whatever goes on the backing pad. You can buy that on its own in 3-inch wide strips,
The hook.
and then you can sort of build up your table.
There is a thing on eBay, like I say, $9.99. You get 3 different grids plus the self-adhesive Velcro pad. I think the grids were 80, 120, and 240. I'll just see if I can find it.
Yeah,
I'll put a link
bungalow that you can, Mark. Yeah, I'm using a 60 grit. Again, it's what I had. I would recommend, if you're doing one of these, you do it a 120.
I'm not bragging here, Pete, but I think you're doing a 10-inch disc, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, and I've got one of those, and I think one of the most valuable pieces of kit that I have to go along with it is one of those latex cleaners for sandpaper. Because
Oh yes.
the 120 grit on the circular disc does hold the dust, and you can clean it super quick and efficiently with the latex, and it just prolongs the length of use of the paper.
Yeah. I've got one here somewhere, but not immediately to hand. Yeah, it's just basically a block of latex. They only cost a couple of quid, and they clean the disc off in seconds.
Yeah.
The other thing is the disc sizes. I'm going 10-inch because I've got a 10-inch. You can go bigger, you can go smaller. Makes no odds.
That's what they all
First
say.
thing you do is find out what disc sizes you can buy easily and cheaply.
You're basically saying size doesn't matter, Pete, right?
But it's not overly important because you don't really change the paper very often once you've got it on there. As long as you keep it clean, it's good enough.
So Simon Hope has some over-engineered cast
aluminium discs. Yeah, they're
sanding plates, and they're pretty good. And he has them also for drum sanders that fit onto your pillar drill. But depends if you want to put your hand in your pocket or not.
but his sanding disc is only 150 mil, isn't it? I think
it is, but he
he
sells the steel plate or the aluminium plate that fits straight onto your lathe to attach it to as well.
Yeah, it just fits straight onto your jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of options out there that you can spend money on. This is cheap. I'm a cheapskate, but it's also available to anybody because it takes very little time to make. So basically that's my table. I'm going to glue that, but before I do, I'm going to do one of those adverts. Switch back to that camera. If you go down to your local pound shop, or dollar store or whatever, go to the cooking section and buy yourself one of these pastry brushes. It's a silicone pastry brush, and you use it, you don't clean it. I used this one yesterday, and you just basically do that, and all the glue comes out of it. You can just pull the glue out, and you've got your brush back. Now, I've seen these things in tool shops sold at silly money. If you're in the UK, I actually got this one from the range, but I've seen them in the pound shops and various other places. But brilliant things. Highly recommended. I want to go to that camera now. As you can see, I'm really organised today. I've got an entire table full of stuff.
Looks like you're making a Jenga in the back there, Pete.
Yeah, that's blanks for. I got a production job in. I'll knock out 40 of those things. So they'll all be spun up tomorrow and shaped. Now, I'm not even going to use a brush on this because there's no point. I did have a
Where do you
screw
get
right
your
there.
Where do you get your Tide Bond from?
Usually Yandles. You can get it wherever you want, but Yandles is my local tool shop, so I like to put my money in there every now and then. My view is I want them to stay there because I need them every now and then. So spending a little bit of money in their direction is a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so which camera am I on? Where am I? I'm here. One table. Simple as. Going to go back to that camera. Get that out of the way a sec. Now then, tables can be simple, they can be fancy. You can pick up these little angle gauges pretty cheaply. You could route a little groove in there to make that fit. Or, if you haven't got a router handy, turn that over, that's a nasty side that I burnt. Oh, that's for Barry. You can stick a piece of wood either side, that'll slide in, and you've got a proper angle gauge.
It's good.
Nice.
I've
Like that.
now found a purpose for the rubbish one that came with my record power bandsaw. I can reuse it for my for this.
Yeah, you could do that. And as I said, if you've got a router, you can route it in. If you haven't got a router, then just put the wood on top, glue it on, job done. The instigation of this was pen blanks, and all you need for that is a straight edge. So I'm bolting this on, I'm not gluing it on, because
Jennifer Stroughton's in.
hi Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
Because actually I don't make pens, so I don't actually want a straight edge on this one. But if you did bolt it on, you could always take it off and change it later on. So I'd recommend that.
Well, I'm not slightly mistaken.
Falkling is in as well.
Pens are slightly curved, aren't they? So it's going to be a little bit of a job in any case to line it up.
No, pen blanks when you start a square.
Ah, so it's for the blanks when you
Yeah.
first. Okay.
You're squaring up the end of the blanks. That's the important bit.
Good idea.
So yeah, so I've now got a square edge. Right, chuck that away for now. Switch to my table camera again. Now on my glue chuck video, I made this without this little washer on the end of it. So I've improved it since then. But basically this is just one straightforward nut that fits your lathe. And set it into some timber that you can glue to. Some holes for a Tommy bar so you can unscrew it. And a hole in the middle so you can put your sharpened Tommy bar through and find the center of whatever you want to glue to it. I'm going to use hot melt glue for this because I'm in a hurry. You could use any glue. But I set these boards with PVA yesterday. I came out this morning and the glue was still wet. It's that cold here, though it's not so bad today.
Robert Lapsley's asking where you got the nut, Pete.
I got that from eBay. I overpaid. Dies in Sheffield, where all this engineering stuff happens, and he reckons he can get them a damn sight cheaper than I paid. I recommend if you've got a heavy plant tools and machinery place nearby, go and ask them. Know what your size of your spindle is, go and ask them for a nut that size. And sorry, the screen's behind me, so I can't see what I'm actually doing on the camera, but that's it.
That's fine.
That's glued on. I will run a bead around that in a minute, but I'll put it on the lathe before I do that.
Another good place is an agricultural merchants.
Yep, agricultural merchants is another place that have large size nuts. So if you've got that,
£1 each, that's ridiculous because I think they're about a tenner on eBay at the moment.
yeah, it's all about being in the right place in the right industry. I mean, my other hobby is motorcycles, and I restore a lot of motorcycles and ride a lot of motorcycles. And we got into stainless steel nuts and bolts in a big way. And you're paying a large amount of money for a small bag of nuts and bolts in stainless steel. And I spoke to a supplier, and I could buy them by the thousand for a couple of quid. Got together with a few other bikers, and we put an order together between us. And the jobs are good.
Tournage Dubois in and Mark Pritchard's
Hi,
in.
Daniel. Hi, Mark.
I'm just looking at Dice suggestion now. City seals and bearings. Let's see what we can find on here.
I don't know if you can hear me, Adam, but they're not a brilliant site because it's probably geared to big industry. I just walked into the shop and they've usually got a stack of them inside. I think I paid £5.50 for, I got 5 or 6 last time I went.
That's amazing.
Jennifer Stroughton's in. Hi, Jennifer.
We say hi to Jennifer just now.
I can't remember. I always play
Well,
it
actually,
safe and
Jennifer, we say hi twice, don't we?
say hello
Jennifer.
3 or 4 times just to make sure.
Yeah, I don't want to get into trouble again.
Again, I got into trouble about 4 times running.
Yeah, but you do deserve it, Mark.
That's true.
You can't really see this on that camera, can you?
No, but we can figure out that you're putting a bead of hot glue
I'm just
around the
running a
edge.
bead of hot glue all the way around that joint. That's the end of that glue gun lead, so I'll turn that off now. And I'll chuck it on the floor out of the way.
found those M33s. There's 6 of them, so that was about what 80 pence each.
80 pence for those nuts. It's a bargain, isn't it? As I said, this is the disc for the sanding disc I happen to have. I think I would like to make a 12 or 14-inch version at some point. But that would require buying a 12 or 14-inch sanding disc, obviously. And you can see it's just basically it's knocked into a rough corner off shape at the moment.
So search on Google. Search on Google found for £1. So there you go.
Tournage de Bois says, don't
No,
shoot the messenger.
it does not need a captive ring.
Don't shoot the messenger. Pete, give it up. We all know you love them. This game you play with everybody saying you hate them. Pointless.
Mind you, there's quite a few things that I turn for other people that I really don't like mushrooms. Can't stand bloody mushrooms. I've even turned mince pies.
I've never turned one, and I don't intend to turn one.
Apples, well, fruit in general, apples, bananas, pears.
I quite like doing fruit, to be honest. I found I'm quite good at apples. Not
Yeah,
so
but
much
if you make
pears.
them really, really well, then you get drunk, like I do quite often. You come home peckish, and you break your teeth. It's a bad idea.
Daniel says, but they make you such a fun guy. Fun guy? Get it? Fun guy? He's here all week, lads.
Yeah. End of the day, I'm only a hobby turner. I don't need to make money at it. But I do like to spend money on it, so I need to make a little bit. So that I can pretend to my wife that it pays for itself. And that she's not missing out on a cruise around the wherever. Because I want a new lathe. Not that either of us would go on a cruise if we were paid to go either. So. Right, that's kind of roundish. What size is it?
The fact you're turning a disc that looks like a pizza, Pete, conversation seems to have swapped over to mushrooms and pineapple on pizza at the moment.
Do you know what?
In the chat.
We had a competition at the local club for a food item. That's what it said, indicating apples, pears, etc. I did turn a pizza, complete with pepperonis and various other toppings, cheese. Yeah, so I turned a pizza and put it in the competition. I didn't win. It might be something to fact I frisbeed it across to the competition table at the beginning, but yeah, slight disdain perhaps. So there's my disc. As I said, I would recommend that you put Velcro on this. It allows you to change the disc that much easier. It makes sense. But there's a little bit of glue on there, which it's going to take off. But it's not important. I'm doing this out of materials I'd knocking around, so mine's a self-adhesive one. That's it. Bit of plywood, bit of glue, a nut. Where's that one I put ready? Damn it, I was so organised earlier. Now I've lost it. There it is. An alternative way of doing it, I've got these diamond discs that I use when I want to sand down some glass. And all I've done is turn a chuck mount on the back of it. Bolted that onto a standard shop bought 4-inch holder. That works well. Another alternative, you can buy yourself a little faceplate ring, screw that onto, again, put it in your chuck. I'm using the nut chuck because I've got it. Make it as fancy as you like, but make it with stuff that you've got or stuff you can get easily. Make it cheap. I should sand the edge of my sanding disc. Fit your self-adhesive bit on, whether that's Velcro or disc or whatever the self-adhesive is. Ideally, you would leave that to set for, well, it depends on temperature, but self-adhesive likes to set for a little while. But we're obviously not going to do that. So now we have our table, our sanding disc. In fact, my table's a little bit high. Never mind, I can talk that later. I can do it up in the banjo, but remember, it's in a banjo. My square could be anywhere. So unlike a fixed machine, you do need to put a square on it and check that it's right.
Brent, go stand in the corner.
What Brent said. Where's my captain? Brent got to go now.
He's late.
In that case, hi Brent.
It's not me tooting, it's just me moving my mic.
I started looking around for a second, Mark. I thought it was something I would do.
If you're sanding on the lathe, you need some sort of extraction. There's a lot of dust made.
Pete, what sort of speed would you recommend for a disc that size?
Depends more on the grit than the disc size, really.
Neil Gould's in.
This
Hi,
is
Neil.
a 60 grit. I'm going at 800-ish. But don't forget, it's going to heat the end of the wood up, so don't leave the wood on there too long if you're going to run it at speed. keep a bit of an eye on it. As you can see, it's sanded it. Done the job. And that is it. A very, very simple project.
To be honest, I love my sanding disc that I made. It works a treat. And being it's 300mm, I can sand quite large pieces on it.
Yeah. As I said, I would prefer to have gone for a 12-inch 300mm. But I happen to have that disc here. And I don't know how long we've been running. 40 minutes. So 40 minutes with chatting. Doesn't take long to make. I think if you do have, let's try and get that on screen. If you do have an old machine that you're not using, which has got something like this on it, fitting that will make a big difference. You've still got to remember to square it up because the banjo will be at any angle it wants to be. But once you've got it squared, then you can use your dial gauge on there to set whatever angle you want. So that would actually improve it quite a lot. I said, if you haven't got a mouse table, you don't need one.
Douglas is asking, could it be used to hold reverse bowls to finish the bottom? Would, but it would ruin the finish on their rim.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Here's one I did earlier. That's what I use.
Yeah.
A little bit of router matting, a disc, and the same again, just a nut. And that holds my bow for reversing. In theory, if you had a piece of neoprene that you could stick over the sandpaper, then yeah, the same disc could be used for both. But if these nuts are 80p each, you can make as many as you want, can't you?
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. Any questions? Any other suggestions even? Because I suspect a lot of you have got sanding discs in various formats.
I've got one thing. You make a consideration of grain direction for the section that's dropping into the banjo, the actual tone.
I'm using plywood on the faceplate, so that's not an issue. The get this one up, it's easier to hold. The bit that goes into the banjo, it's just in spindle orientation. It's just the grain's going up through it. It, in theory, could flex.
Like with an axe handle, having the grain running out towards the direction of flex.
Yeah.
Or is it just not even worth bothering with it?
It's not worth it. At the end of the day, I mean, I've never had one move yet. And, you know, steel can flex as well. It's always been strong enough for what I want to do.
Cool. Nice little demo, that. Good idea.
It's a simple idea. I mean, I've done this in various formats. Usually chuck held, but you know, this time I decided to make one that's standalone. Ever since I've had a lathe, really, because it's just easy. All the sanding just does is spin, and you want something that spins. And if you look at my little sanding arbor one, making these things to go in the chuck that you can stick your Simon Hope's sanding arbors into. So you've got all sizes. And that's great for taking the bottom off of parted off spindles just knocking that little chunk out the middle. And it takes seconds to do. And the chuck's already on the lathe at that time anyway, so using the lathe to do your sanding just makes sense.
Yeah. There's 2 links in the chat there. One for Circular Wood by Keith doing a live tonight, and the other is for Lewis, the Klondike Craftsman. He's got a premiere at 10:30 UK time.
Brilliant. I shall try and get to those.
And also, don't forget,
carry on, Mark. Sorry.
Beard 16. Richard is doing an invade tonight with Doc Miller.
Oh, cool. Right, so there's no other questions. I think that's about it. I shall end the broadcast by, as Wayne says, pressing the blooming button. Except my bloody mouse isn't working.
Cheers,
everyone. Bring them back in quickly. Bye.